Here's what the NBA experts from Colin Cowherd to Adrian Wojnarowski to Charles Barkley, Skip Bayless, all these guys on the TV, they're going in, they're talking about how Russell Westbrook and James Harden can't coexist. How is this going to work out? They can't win a title together. They will never be successful. The only reason why these analysts and people are telling you, trying to program you and brainwash you to think that Russell Westbrook and James Harden will not work together is because these experts hate to be wrong. They hate to recant their statements. They hate to be put on blast. Now, they might tell you, hey, I'm wrong all the time. I make bold statements. It's nothing for me to be wrong about something. I'm used to being wrong. It's BS. It's a bold-faced lie. They hate the fact of being wrong. I'm going to give you multiple examples. When LeBron James went to Miami, everybody initially said, well, they didn't like the move. Then they were like, well, how can they win? You know, LeBron and Wade kind of play the same kind of style of basketball. They're both slashers. You remember Dan Gilbert said that we'll win a title in Cleveland before you win one in Miami. Analysts were saying that just because they're together, that doesn't make them the favorite. There's still teams that are better than them. And when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 2010, everybody said, see, I told you so. See, I told you so. See, I told you this wouldn't work. I'm the analyst. I'm the expert. I'm telling you this is not going to work. Told you it wouldn't work. Oh, 2011, they win a title. Oh, eventually they'll win a title. It was only enough. Oh, 2012, they win a title. Oh, this is a dynastic team. Oh, you know what? I guess I was a little wrong about them. They figured it out. Miami. That's one example. Let's keep them coming. Let's just keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. How about this one? Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors. We all remember when KD made that huge decision to play with the team that beat him. All the analysts, they picked Cleveland. I will say this. I would say 70% of analysts picked Cleveland to win the title that year. Everybody said it wasn't a fluke. Tyronn Lue did a great coaching job. And Kevin Durant needed to crew up, and he still won't win a title. That's what a lot of people were saying. You could go back. Chris Webber chose the Cleveland Cavaliers to repeat. Isaiah Thomas chose the Cleveland Cavaliers to repeat that year. Kevin Durant with the Warriors. Kevin Durant is ISO. He's going to stall up the Warriors system. He's not going to be able to coexist. It's still Steph's team. Kevin Durant, he's not going to be able to flourish. First year, they win a title. Oh, the deck was stacked. Cleveland, they couldn't handle it or whatever the case is. They win a title the next year. Oh, we got a dynastic situation. All the naysayers about Kevin Durant and the Warriors not working, that went away. All that went away. Got another example. Chris Paul with James Harden. When Chris Paul got traded to Houston Rockets, everybody said, how's this going to work? These two guys are both ball dominant. Chris Paul is a firecracker. They're not going to be able to be successful. They're not going to really be able to make noise in the playoffs because they both kind of play the same style. You have James Harden, who's your point guard. How's that going to work? Western Conference Finals. They went to the semis, lost in the semis, of course. And, now they're saying this didn't work. But initially, it worked. If Chris Paul doesn't get injured, maybe we'll have a different discussion. So, I just gave you 3 examples. Miami, LeBron. Kevin Durant, Warriors. CP3 with James Harden, which a lot of people said it wouldn't work. They said it would unequivocally not work. Even myself, I wrote an article about how that wouldn't work. And it came out to work somewhat. You can't say, it wasn't 100% successful, but some will say, hey, you made the Western Conference Finals. Houston's a contender every year that Chris Paul was there. Some would take 70% efficiency in that category. Now we're looking at James Harden and Russell Westbrook. All the analysts are pounding it in your head. This ain't gonna work. this ain't gonna work. I don't see it working. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't see how it's gonna. Did you see how LeBron in Miami was gonna work? Did you see how Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and all those guys was gonna work? I thought you said the Warriors were too small. You could pound them inside. If I'm a team, I'm just gonna pound them inside. That's what everybody was saying. Oh, they're not. You're not gonna. I'll pound them inside those jump shooting legs. That's gonna be over with. That didn't work. Oh, LeBron James in Miami, you could lean off him, let him shoot. That didn't work. Still won a title. So all these guys want to do is just rationalize their decision to brainwash you into thinking why Russell Westbrook and James Harden won't work. They're telling you every avenue of why it won't work, but they're scared and they're embarrassed to tell you why it would work. Why James Harden playing the point and putting Russell Westbrook at his natural position at the 2 would work. Why James Harden and Russell Westbrook both orchestrated and nobody could guard them one-on-one and they both command a double team would work. Why if you surround them with shooters and spacing on the floor, how they could chew up any defender, how that would work. They're not saying all that. They're just telling you all the reasons why it won't work. Because they don't want to recant their statement. They want to go with the masses. They want to brainwash you into thinking a certain thing. It's okay to think they will work. That's okay. If you think they will work, you can give me all the reasons why they would work. All they do is give you reasons why they can't work, which is crazy because they've worked together. They went to the NBA Finals together back in 2011. There was some success there. So at the end of the day, don't. I guess it's that saying, believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Believe what you're hearing from these analysts only 20% of the time because they're going to change like the wind. They're going to tell you it can't work. And then if Russell Westbrook and James Harden go on a mean streak, get one of the best records in the Western Conference, and go far in the playoffs, they'll just, it's working because of this, and Russell Westbrook is a superior they'll all change their tunes. It will not be a model of consistency with a lot of these analysts. But the only reason why they're telling you it won't work is because they don't want to recant their statements. Honestly, it can work. Everybody's telling you why it can't work. You're replacing CP3 with the souped-up version of CP3. The only difference is CP3 makes better decisions, and CP3 you might consider a better shooter. But other than that, Russell's better defender, better passer, scores more points, better finisher, everything. So don't believe the hype. These people telling you that it can't work at all. Because if CP3 and James Harden can make it to the Western Conference Finals, I don't see why you insert Russell Westbrook into the equation and how that doesn't work. Especially if you're looking at a system like Michael D'Antoni's system where you got to get the ball up the floor fast. And with those guys, you're going to be running up and down. Now, people want to point out that they're inefficient and this, that, and the third. Well, I'm sorry. In OKC, after Durant left, how many other efficient players were on the team other than Russell Westbrook? I think Russell Westbrook was one of the most efficient shooting people on his team. His team had no other guys that could really create or do anything. Oladipo, when he got there, he tried his best or whatever the case is, but it didn't really work out. It didn't pan out. He got to Indiana where the expectation was a little lower. You see him turn into this mega star, but when the expectation was there, he wasn't playing that well. You know what I'm saying? Like with Harden, his efficiency, I don't have any excuse for that because if you got CP3, you got all these shooters around, you should be more efficient. But then again, he's a volume shooter. They're keying in on him in the playoffs or whatever the case is. So, but you're saying, this is the most inefficient backcourt or this, that, and the third. Dude, until you've seen them play and you see the result on the court, don't rule out that this can't work. Because they said the same. I said the same thing about CP3 and James Harden. But that worked out pretty well. They went to Western Conference Finals. They had the best record in the West that year. So all this talk about this, that, and the third can't work. Hey, just as much as you have examples of why something can't work, you need to make examples of why it can work. Because a lot of these guys, they don't want to eat crow. And they want to see this fail. That's what people don't understand. They would like to see this fail. Because this proves them right. This boosts their ego. This boosts their ratings. This makes them look like Nostradamus. Like, I told you. Told you this wouldn't work. I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told you. They want to be that guy that you go to. Well, a lot of you guys are already going to them because that's what's on the television. A lot of these guys talking like basketball and stuff like that, they don't know what they're talking about half the time. And the ones that do know what they're talking about, they're not on prime time. You look at somebody like a Greg Anthony, he's not on prime time. See what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas, he doesn't even get like a lot of prime time like how he should. He's on NBA TV. Some people might not have NBA TV. Hell, some people don't even have cable. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these people that really have the knowledge to disseminate it to you and stuff like that, they're not on prime time. But then you're looking at, and this is no disrespect to anybody or whatever the case, but you're looking at like a Max Kellerman and all these other guys. They're spewing their guts about basketball. Never played, never really studied the game up until recent. You see what I'm saying? They just fell in love with the game, and they can tell you they're watching it for years or whatever the case is. But you watched it. You didn't. You know, you didn't delve into it. You know what I'm saying? You weren't initiated into it. You see what I'm saying? You could dibble and dabble here and there, but when it's like watching those ugly games with the Pistons and the Spurs, and when the league was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and all that other stuff, you wasn't there. When I'm rattling names off like Glenn Robinson, Tim Thomas, like Nick Anderson, like all these other players back in the day, they're not gonna really give it to you. They could just tell you about the here and now. So that's why you gotta really listen to what everything they're saying with a grain of salt, because they want this to fail, and that's what they're not telling you. They want this to fail, and they don't want to be wrong. They don't want to recant their statement. They don't want to have to come to you and say, I was wrong. That's the bottom line. Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.